Hello and welcome to my stamp studio. Today is day 2 of our 12 days of Christmas craft along. So get out your day 2 project. So you have a little envelope like that. You'll also need a piece of designer series paper from your package that measures 5 1/4 by 12 inches. And then we're going to be scoring it along the 4-inch and 8-inch marks on our trimmer. Just make sure you have your score blade there. So I'm going to pull up my ruler, extend that arm. So here we go. And we're going to do 4/8. We're going to do, not 4/8. We're going to do 4. Make sure your cutting blade's out of the way. And when you're doing designer series paper, go lightly. So you can go multiple times. Just go lightly. Otherwise, you run the risk of tearing your paper. And then we're going to go to the 8-inch mark and do it again. All right, so now we have this piece. Let's move this out of the way. And I'm just getting to my project sheet here. So we're looking at page 3 in our tutorial. And now let's get out our bits and pieces here that we need. And here we go. So I have a piece of Pool Party that is 5 1/2 by 4 1/4, just like your normal card base, except it's not a card base. We're just doing that 1/4 piece of cardstock. Oh, there is one other thing that we need to do here. I'm just going to go ahead and make sure I have this lined up and give it a good press here, just like that. That is going to be sitting on the front of our card. Before we do that, though, the next thing that we'll have to do is take a chunk off of our designer paper right here so that we can form a pocket. So I'm going to just take my trimmer in, and there's no measurement that you have to do. You're just going to cut off an angle here. So I'm going to just turn my cardstock here. All right, I'm going to actually flip my cardstock this way. All right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut off a chunk over here. And I don't want it to go all the way to the bottom and all the way to the top. So we're just going to move it over a little bit. And I'm just going to take this chunk off here. All right, so I have a little chunk of paper here. All right. So now I'm going to be able to form my little pocket. So let's go ahead and add some tear and tape so that our little card does not fall out. So grab our tear and tape here. And I want to just put it right along the bottom. So you can choose whichever designer series paper you want to use. Okay, so I've got that right there. And I'm also going to do this little edge here, just to make sure just make sure that pocket stays in place. All right, I'm gonna rub that down a little bit. I'm gonna grab my Take a Pick tool. This is a great tool for so many different things. Not only can you peel off the backings of your dimensionals, but it helps you lift up that tear and tape backing. Helps pick up sequins, add mini glue dots when you need to. All right, I'm just going to rub that down a little bit. There we go. All right, so now I'm just going to fold this back in. All right, give it a good press again. So now I've got my little pocket. So just like that. Okay, now this piece you're going to have to trim down just a little bit. So this is the piece of white that you had in there. And we're going to trim this down to be, let's see, how wide is our card? So here's my Amazon card. I mean, who doesn't love an Amazon card, right? So you have a piece that's 3 3¾ by 5. Just trim it down, like to 3 1/2. Okay, so it's 3 1/2 inches wide. Right, that way we can slide this right in. So depending on where you put your tear and tape is going to depend on where that has to go in. And we're going to take a 1/4 inch off the edge too. So it will be 3.5 by 4 3/4. All right. Put it right there, just like that. And what you can do here is, these are a little gift card holder. I'm going to take a glue dot, and I'm going to just take one glue dot on the back of my card here, and I'm just going to put it right in the front. Before I do that, let's go ahead and stamp something. On my original sample, I didn't have anything stamped, but I feel like stamping today. So I'm going to go ahead and bring in my Pool Party ink. And I'm going to grab these little snowflake pieces right there. Gotten to open that this morning. All right. So we're just going to take our Pool Party, and I am just going to do this all the way across the top. So I just want to grab a scrap piece of paper here. And don't worry, my Amazon card has already been used. I won't put it in. I won't put it in this one. I'll put a brand new one in. All right, and then we're just going to take Merry Christmas. Oh, let me put it down flat. I'm going to grab my Real Red ink. Now, totally up to you what you'd like to do to decorate for the inside. I didn't have any in the tutorial, so we'll just put, I'm going to put it up a little bit higher. Merry Christmas. We'll close these two because that is all the stamping I'm going to be doing. And I'll take my gift card. I'm just going to put it right here. So now when they take their gift card off, they're going to see your little message. So you can write something underneath. All right, so we're just going to slide that in just like that. All right. Now we do need to take this and adhere it to our little card base. And the other thing that we'll need to do before we adhere it to our card base is take our ribbon and wrap it around. So I'm going to go ahead and open up my ribbon here. I love this sheer ribbon. I've been using it in so many classes that it's like perfect for everything. So I'm going to take this and I'm just going to simply tie a bow around it. And I just want to get my finished project here. Where did I put them? Okay, so I'm going to take this, leave myself enough room to tie my bow over here. I'm going to tie a bow on my end. All right, I'm going to turn this upside down just to tie, just because it's the way I've got my ribbon. All right. Now you'll be able to slide your ribbon wherever you want before we put it onto our card base. So keep that in mind. All right. Okay, I'm going to make a really nice big bow right here. Because after all, it is a gift, right? Trim off my edges. Okay. Put my tools back here. All right, so the next piece is we have our card base. All right, now before I actually adhere this down, I'm just going to slide my bow a little bit. I'm going to be putting my tag on here. Now notice from the Greatest Greetings tag, I'm sorry, I keep saying Greatest Greetings. It's the Greetings of the Season dies that I used. So it has this little automatic little hole for your tag. I'm just going to center, I'm going to have my ribbon centered behind there. And what I plan on doing is I'm going to cut out a couple of the deer, and I'm going to make sure that one of the deer actually cover that little hole. All right, so I'm going to put it off to the side. Now that I know where I want my ribbon, I'm going to go ahead and just grab my Seal Plus here. You can use your tear and tape again. And I'm going to go along all the sides. Again, when you're doing gift card holders, when you're doing projects, that'll be, you know, frequently opened and closed, use a very strong adhesive. You don't want your project falling apart. So go ahead, pull out the strong adhesive. You could use liquid glue too. All right, and I'm just going to give that a good press along those edges there. All right. So now next things next, we're going to go ahead and grab some of our paper and find some of those deer to cut out. So now I have my paper here in this little bin. So it's helped me kind of corral all my things. Now, on that one I have cut off, I have this little deer. I could actually use this one. I'm going to go ahead and fussy cut this one out. Yeah, there's a little bit of cutting here. There's no die for this one, but that's all right. It's really not bad to do. I think it's really cute with that little scarf and hat. All right. I'm going to come back in this way. I'm going to come back in a little bit closer with that. I just need to get rid of that excess paper there. Again, I wish I could be playing Christmas music in the background, but Facebook does not like you to have music around. I don't know why that is though, because, you know, they have other videos that are playing music. I don't know. But I know one time I had music on the background of my video. I had that song Hot Diggity Dog, and Facebook shut down my live right in the middle of my live because I was playing the music. So I had to turn off the music, and it was quiet in the background. You know, it was just a little bit in the background, but it picked it up. All right, now I could leave that like it is, or I can trim that out. I'm going to go ahead and just trim it out since I'm already cutting. Now, part of my deer was cut off. Did you see that? So I'm going to show you what you can do. I'm going to round that corner right there where his skate is. Oh, I don't want to point. And I'm going to come in here. Get this one. Notice I'm not cutting super close to my deer. We're going to be putting this on top of that pool party tag anyways. Okay, so there's one. And I'm going to go grab my second deer here. Just get these pieces out of the way. And I do save my large strips because I do end up using them on projects. So I just need to grab another deer. Okay, so now the other deer I cut out was the same one from the same paper here. I am going to keep this strip because this strip is going to give me a half inch strip that I'm going to use in one of my other projects. So I'm going to go ahead and keep that strip. All right, so now here we're just simply going to lay our deer. So I know that I want this one to cover that little hole, and I just need to put it off the edge just enough to kind of cut off where I put that. We're going to leave its little tail there. I'm just going to cut off its little leg. I know it sounds so cruel, but we're just going to do it. All right. Okay. No one's really going to notice that because it's going to be kind of tucked behind a bow. So as long as I have it like that, we're all good. So I'm going to go ahead and take my liquid glue here, and I'm going to put this one down with liquid glue. If I get that little glue booger out of there. All right. I got a little dried piece of glue in there, so it's not wanting to come out nicely. Now, I didn't put any glue on my tail. All right. So let's get this back up here, even with that edge. There we go. So there's one deer. And then here's our second one, which I thought he was just hysterical. So I did want to use him. We're going to pop him up on dimensionals. And just keep in mind where you're going to like have it go off. So I know that I don't need a dimensional on these legs right here. So we'll go ahead and put this there. Now you could just make this into a card. You could do this as a gift card holder. Totally up to you on what you'd like to do. But I like having gift card holders on hand. You know, my sons are adults now, so a lot of times it's just easier getting them a gift card. All right. I started kind of doing that when they were teenagers because they were getting to be so hard to buy for. So that and cash and, you know, our normal holiday gifts, no traditional gifts. So do you have a traditional gift that you give out? If you do, let me know. Put it in the comments of the video here. I would love to hear. We give Christmas jammies on Christmas Eve because the boys always wanted to open up a present on Christmas Eve. Well, you know, some years it was a little tight for money, so we didn't always have a lot of presents under the tree. So what we started doing is giving them their Christmas jammies on Christmas Eve. Now, they weren't always thrilled with it. So when they were really young, I did have a toy in there. So they got their Christmas jammies and some sort of toy. All right, but that is our finished card. Here is the one that was pictured in the tutorial. So just changing up what deer I used to change it up. You can use any of the Designer Series paper in your package, whatever you want. Just make sure the direction that you cut your Designer Series paper in. All right, so thank you for joining me today for our day 2 of our 12 days of Christmas craft along. We will be back tomorrow with another project for you. Bye.